Hey up and welcome to the Temple of Bleh. This is a conversation with Jay and Sean from Ingested. It was recorded backstage when they were supporting Cannibal Corpse in Nottingham a few weeks ago. It largely details the challenges, trials and tribulations of touring in post-pandemic and post-Brexit Britain and Europe, and it's all in all a good chat. Apologies from the outset, I speak fairly quickly. I guess I was in a bit of a rush and I was sat down with two northerners so they could understand what I was saying, which is grand. But either way, go and check out Ingested. They're on tour in the US at the minute, and I think they're coming back for a few UK dates in the summer before doing a few festival runs. All right, 1, 2, fuck shit up. I came from Leeds.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't know what I did, but when I was buying brews, I must have hit someone on sat nav. So it said, "You are now here at St. Anne's." I'm like, "What the fuck is St. Anne's?" And it's one of them where you're looking around, and there's two people screaming at each other. There's a guy in the middle of the road shadow boxing, and you're just like, fuck this.
Fucking hell.
This is not what
welcome to the Midlands.
Yeah, and it's potholed every fucking day as well. Just fucking nonsense. But cheers for doing this.
Yeah,
I do appreciate it. So I wanted to, when I listen back with interviews with you guys, there's always this position where you both stop drinking, you both have kids, and there's this point before the pandemic where you quit your job and you make it viable. I wanted to start sort of there, because I'm really, same with the Roadrunner stuff, I'm really interested in the viability of metal as a business and as a proposition, because when you get hyped up on rock and being a musician, it's usually the classics where there's this massive disconnect. You just think Jimmy Page was a millionaire from the get-go, you know what I mean? And at this period in that time, there's such a deregulation. There wasn't any there weren't any rules. No one knew what they were doing. But now it's a completely different story.
Yeah.
So when you guys said, "Let's pack in the jobs and let's do it," obviously this is pre-Brexit and pre-pandemic.
Yeah, Dave, this is what we've always wanted to do. So it's time to shit or get off the fucking pot. So that was first and foremost, because we were just if we don't do it now, it's too late. We need to fucking jump in with both feet. And then the business plan was awful at first.
Jesus Christ.
Because we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Now, it's Lynn's the fucking brain, and Lynn, our drummer, is the fucking brain behind our business model and stuff.
Yeah.
But now it's it's a legitimate registered business, innit? It's an actual company. We all have equal share in it. We're all company directors. We've got fucking accountants that work for us and everything.
So what were the missteps early doors then?
It was more the money was, we would get money and then we'd just immediately split it between us.
Right.
So it was there was no, we were kind of living hand to mouth, weren't we?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it was there was no long-term business plan at first. It was literally we've done a tour, this is how much money we've made, then we split it equally. Yeah. Whereas, and then it's then you're just kind of living from tour to tour, aren't you?
I mean, there's nothing in the business. You can't afford flights, you can't afford any logistics.
Because you've had to use all that to pay your bills.
Exactly.
So there's nothing there.
But back then as well, we weren't getting paid, but we were getting paid now.
Yeah.
There is that period, isn't there?
Yeah.
The money, when we went for it in 2018, we were getting paid fuck all. It was tough. It was tough to fucking make it work. And after that first year, we racked up about $20,000 worth of debt in 2018. Started to try and turn it around 2019. Kind of. 2020 came in, and then the pandemic fucking fucked it all up.
Yeah, crushed us, didn't it? Because we were in the middle of a tour. So we had a whole tour's worth of merch that we just paid for, basically.
So 2019, we got out of that debt, paid it off, got into 2020, COVID hit, and then we were like, oh great, 14 grand again.
Another 14 grand debt, straight away. So
I had to go back to work.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I was a postie.
Nice. Fucking hell, nice.
So I went back to doing that, because I quit it literally a week before, because I got 2 years sabbatical, so I was focusing on the band, but I could take some shifts every now and then when I got home, which was fortunate. But once we went on tour Decapitated, I got a call saying, right, your sabbatical's officially ended, are you coming back to work? And I went, no. And a week later, I was like, well, I've got no job. I'm like, do you know that? request that you put in about me not working, can you stop it? And he went, all right, I'll give you a call tomorrow. I was like, right, you're back in work on Monday. I went, fuck yes. So I got my job back. But I quit Royal Mail in October.
Right.
Officially, because I couldn't balance it all anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I fucking know you.
But like, I was just taking unpaid leave all the time because I fucked up. My holidays were all gone. I used all my holidays for Fit Tour, which was the start of 2022. And then I was just like begging for fucking unpaid leave and all this kind of shit. And then it got to the Lorna Shore tour, or like the get in there and like, so how many more of these things you gonna do? And I was like, right, it's done. So,
Yeah.
But,
right, it's done. I gotta put my fucking all my balls in this basket right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
The pandemic was interesting for me, as in like looking at this again as an outsider, because I know you keep using the word business model. I know it's very unsexy language, but I think my audience gets that now.
Yeah.
But the business, I always look at Matt Heafy for this because there's no longer. I think he's killed the album cycle. I think the proposition for a band isn't like do an album, do a tour, and make the money. It's Trivium's albums are just one little spike in the fucking Matt Heafy circle of fucking death, because he's always doing something. I mean, he would feature on one of your singles, so that was like one part of his that year for him. And the present has to be constant now with streaming. I know you stream, don't you?
Well, I haven't streamed for ages because I've been on a fucking tour.
Yeah.
So I've been on tour for like a year nearly. Like, so.
But it's a different kettle. Where is the money now? Purely in the merch? Is that because that's the word, isn't it?
Essentially. I mean, the guarantee money we get paid is just basically logistics of the tour.
And that's the promoter that's. Is it the promoter that's bearing that? I don't know anything about this. But
how we negotiate guarantees?
Oh no, I was going to say
who pays us to play?
Yeah.
So
it's like if you like, here we are in Nottingham City.
Yeah.
To get the buses onto the lot. And to get the sound engineers into the building, presumably, actually, I bet they're one of yours.
Yeah, we've got sound.
Yeah. Okay. To get the bar staff in, it's the promoter that's done.
Yeah. So the venue will have their staff.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a promoter, and that might be an in-house promoter who works for the venue, or it might be an external promoter who's working with the venue.
Yeah.
And then they basically liaise with the band's booking agents and management, who then negotiate the deal and the guarantee. And then they pay the band, basically.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but that at our level, where we are now, like our guarantees for the show, basically pay for things like that income from the guarantees of the show basically pay for things like the bus that's outside,
sound engineer,
merch guy, like so
it's
that
gone.
So all them guarantees pay for the cost of us doing the tour, and then the merch is where we as a band make our income.
It's the only way we make money.
Yeah. The big hot topic at the minute is merch cuts.
It's disgusting.
Oh mate, it's
is it? The boys have a cut though, haven't they?
No.
No.
Not over here.
Not over here. Right. Okay.
Depends the size of the venue and the level of, where you're going to be at. So like Live Nation, O2 and all that kind of shit, you're going to find.
Yeah, they're going to fuck you.
Fucking it.
It took £1,000 off yesterday.
Took £1,000 off.
Why isn't there someone just going, here's our merch stand, it's a QR code to the website?
Because people buy when they're there.
Yeah, they need.
You can do that, but you'll be missing so many sales.
Yeah.
And for a band like us, because we're like a mid-tier band, like, do you know what I mean? We're not one of these massive bands, not yet anyway. Like, and it's like for us, we can't afford to miss those sales.
Yeah.
So even though they're taking they took a third of our fucking money yesterday in London. A third of our fucking money. Like, why do you need that though? This is the problem that I have. Why do you need that? You don't need that. Like, do you know what I mean? How much are you making on the door? How much are you making on the fucking bar with all these fucking £8 for a fucking pint?
Yeah.
Like, and you're fucking, we don't get none of that. Like, and we're like, us bands are the reason why there's fucking people there.
Baffling. We played for minus money yesterday.
Yeah.
From our guarantee and them taking our merch, we played.
Yeah.
Minus. Lost money playing yesterday.
Fuck me.
Like,
I didn't know the situation
like,
was in the UK they didn't and now they do.
Yeah. I don't understand why they feel like it's a separate thing where this is your guarantee, but this is the merch. No, listen, you took our guarantee and more. We played for nothing. We lost money playing this fucking show.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Is there a booking agent involved here?
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah,
but no one's
but-
putting the foot down.
Yeah.
No one. Yeah, it takes
the
an
problem.
Eddie Vedder to come in, doesn't it?
This is the problem. So what the problem is that for me, it's just fucking corporate greed. It's corporate greed.
Yeah.
Like, there is no reason why any of these fucking massive fucking venues need to take money from bands. Like, absolutely zero. Like, you're making so much money. What does that do? Fucking hurts the fans. Really. And it's like, well, if you're in a band or any type of business, you don't want to hurt your customers. Like, if you're hurting your customers, then, like, they're not going to come back. They're not going to... Do you know what I mean?
There's no nothing to incentivise it.
Exactly.
Dropping.
Exactly. All it's doing is pushing it up and up and up.
Yeah.
You can't justify to me that they're entitled to take 25% of
No.
your earnings. It's
Not
fucking
now.
insane.
When you're already paying
25%.
And then they stick tax on
Tax
top
on
of
it.
Yeah.
So then it was like 33% yesterday.
Fucking mental.
Like, and it's just like, why are we paying fucking tax? We're a legitimate fucking business.
That's already paying tax.
That we have to pay tax on that fucking shit at the end of the fucking financial year or whenever it is. We don't need to pay tax now. We're paying fucking, like, you're double taxing us just because you want some fucking money.
Does anyone in... I don't know this, does anyone in the political sphere have any stake in this? Because usually there's some sort of method where you could lobby it, couldn't you? I'm not putting this on you to lobby. I'm just saying I'm trying to understand the landscape of what, in terms of empowerment and trying to get people to make the move they need to move, even if it is tactically not buying from that venue, but buying from that venue or whatever it's going to be, what the options are. Because there must be some fucking metal edit.
I guess, yeah.
This is it. For some bizarre reason.
But then it's like, do you really want to trust a politician?
That's true.
Nah.
But they don't care about the arts
You know what I
anyway.
mean?
They don't give a shit.
Fuck.
Brexit, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
We were one of the
all
last.
got
We were
blocked.
at the bottom of the list of shit of priorities. They didn't give a fuck.
This is one thing I want to try. I'm going to try and speak to Lynn about this because I wanted to get a roundtable of like a UK tour manager type, and I know Lynn is sort of like that, an American tour manager, and try and understand post-Brexit and COVID world, because obviously with the Roadrunner documentary, the assumption I went in on was all the artists I want to get will come through the UK.
Yeah.
That assumption has been correct, except everyone's recouping losses from COVID.
Yeah.
And Brexit's made it logistically a lot harder. So what that means for me is, if a Max Cavalera type comes through, I can't fucking do it in 15 minutes in this room.
Yeah.
It had to be like 2 hours booked out a distillery to make Rob Flynn look good. It's one of those kind of things, but now it's completely impossible because everyone's just in and out.
Yeah.
And even Anthrax has cancelled another European tour.
I mean, I'm not surprised though.
So what's the state? What's Brexit done to logistics?
It's so confused.
Yeah.
Like, you go, so now you have to get this thing called a carnet.
Yeah.
Which is basically, it's like an itinerary.
I tell you everything you bring in.
Everything.
They did that before, though. I remember Satan being the...
It existed at one point.
Yeah. But like, this was a long time ago. And now, because of Brexit, now we're not part of the EU. Now they've brought it back. So now you need a carnet, which is like an itinerary of every single fucking thing that you're bringing with you. Whether that's gear, merch, fucking everything. Right?
Serial numbers, cost, where it was made.
Everything.
All of it.
And it's like, but the problem with it is that nobody fucking knows what they're doing. So you'll go to get your carnet, and then you'll get told like fucking loads of different things by different people because nobody knows what the fuck they're doing. They're all confused. They don't even know what it is. Then you'll get to fucking English border.
It's different again.
It's different again. Like, and then they'll go, no, you need to do it at this place, and then you go there, and then they'll tell you that you need to go somewhere else, and you're just running around in a fucking loop.
When we got
for like an hour.
When we got back into the UK to do the carnet, because you need to close it. You open it, leave, close it here, there, and whatever. So we had to close it again. They had us going in the queue like 4 times, going round in circles. Oh, this is wrong. But like, what do you mean?
The idea of the carnet, I guess it's so you're not going into Europe and then coming
selling
back.
all your shit.
Yeah, and coming back with loads of whatever. Yeah.
Not allowed to do that. Can't do that.
It's basically about import and export. Like,
Yeah.
We need to take.
It's like
We need to take.
it's like if I wouldn't mind as long as like the people who are employed there and all the people that they're all singing off the same hymn sheet. Do you know what I mean? But they're not. It's like they're all saying different things, and it's like, well, who the fuck knows what's going on here? Like, do you know what I mean?
It's accountability, and no one wants to be the one to go, right, lads, let's sort this out. They'll go, Barry, I can see Barry through there.
Yeah.
He's not doing fuck all, and him handle this lot.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Yeah. And especially with extra customs and stuff like that, you can't bring a lorry in with gear as easily as you could. Or if you are, you don't want it there for a second fucking longer than you need it to be. Which is why all these UK tours are like, oh fucking hell, London, Glasgow, Manchester, or no days off and a longer run or something like that.
Yeah, but it's the costs of touring now as well, which is why a lot of American bands are cancelling in Europe and the UK because the costs so much, aren't they? Like it's like tour bus prices have fucking shot up if you can even fucking get one. Like merch prices, costs have gone up. Like
it's a separate line item because you need a UK specific visa, whereas you just need a
It's a typical thing where everything's going up, but you know the important part of this cog, which is the bands themselves, our fees aren't going up.
Yeah,
We just, you know, it's insane how shafted bands get. In the whole circle of it all. Like we're technically the most important, but we get treated as you know, the last ones to make money.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane.
I don't know.
The power's outside of the band.
Well, that's it, isn't it? There isn't anyone. They had a protest, didn't they, where they put some flight cases on Whitehall or something.
Yeah, something like that. I remember something.
It wasn't quite. But this is why, again, the business how is it outbound then? So I guess when you're doing a US tour, it's like, it's fucking fine.
US is well easier than Europe isn't it, at the moment.
Well, carnets are going to start again. Like, US have started doing carnets.
Great.
I've got to drive to fucking Wellington next week and go and fucking try and get it. It's another logistical thing that's just unnecessary. It's fucking annoying.
Where do records come into this then? Because the streamers have fucked you as well. I know this isn't a checklist of how a band's fucked, because we kind of know some of these things, but the more we go around it, the more I can kind of understand, or are there any pain points that can be alleviated, and is there anything the average fan can do, which is turn up shows and buy toll, it appears to be it, but even then it's pushing a rock up a hill to make any reasonable money off that.
Well, I mean, like you said, the best thing that they can do is just keep going to shows and buying merch and supporting the bands that you love. But again, like even then, sometimes that's like a double-edged sword because of the merch costs. But music-wise, I mean, that's like the last thing. Like for us anyway, like that like records is like the thing that we earn the least money off.
Yeah.
Because obviously you get fuck all for streaming. What is it, like 0.001p for every fucking stream? Which is
diabolical in itself,
innit? Like,
well, they take fucking
billions
in profit.
Billions.
Like, are you telling me Brian Siegel hasn't invented his own stream farm underneath his house in Vegas?
He should. But it's like, it's like that's kind of like the last thing that a band at our level like earns money from is the music, which is like, I think it's a bit backwards because it didn't used to be that. Like, do you know what I mean?
It's alright, isn't it?
But the problem is that with the advent of digital music, that's how people consume music now. Mostly, people only buy CDs and vinyl if they're collectors. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's now like it's a collective.
The rationale has changed. It's different because it used to be like 15 quid for a CD and HMV, and that was your lot. Now it's like there's a different range. It's like you can get your CD and you get a T-shirt for 30 quid. Or you can get your
like bundles and stuff.
Like it's gone tall. It's like we're saying with the merch. It's like it only goes up.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a wider and cheaper proposition. It's always a singular proposition that goes way higher.
Yeah.
But this is what have you not considered like doing a hair thing, taking like a streaming rig on tour and going try to keep that as like a
but it's like
his platforms.
Yeah, my platform's nowhere near as big as.
See, charming Northerners though. It's a different,
I know.
different kettle of fish.
But it's also like I feel like the way that we tour, like I would burn myself out.
Yeah.
Like mentally, like and physically, because then it's like it's touring is hard, and like I know like people see it as like this glamorous, like like, and it's like, but it's hard, like mentally and physically, because it's a lot of travel, it's a lot of waiting around, it's a lot of like being stuck at a loose end and stuff, but then it's like you have the added like psychological pressure of being away from your family and your friends for long periods of time. You've also got to consider though, these people like Matt Heafy's got an entire lot of crew that can do all the day-to-day shit that you just need to do, set up, loading. We ain't got that. Yeah, we got to do it. What's he fucking stream within that day? Yeah. I got shit to do.
Well, it's Sid right here.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not in that position.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but it's
But
like,
it is interesting how he's gone, well, here's the revenue exchange in a band, and he just gone, curved it out here.
Yeah.
But
he's a great personality as well.
Oh yeah,
like,
but he was down on the ground level. But I'm always interested in. I'm trying to figure out like, when he plays like fucking Polado. It's like, well, surely someone at Roadrunner's gonna get that fucking streaming money because that's technically a PRS concern.
I mean,
a PRS thing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But so how much of my £5 subbing to it? £2.50 goes to Amazon or whoever owns Twitch or whatever the fuck it is. So £2.50 ends up apparently in Mr. Hayfie's pocket.
Yeah.
A bit of that's got to go back to Warner. But
I don't know.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, as
I remember when I was streaming, a lot of my streams got hit with mutes because I was playing my own band's music on them.
Yeah.
And I was getting like copyright strikes and stuff, and I was just like, are you fucking mental? We fucking wrote this. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, this was when we were on Unique Leader.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
that's the joy though.
Why the fuck am I getting fucking told that I'm infringing copyright? It's my fucking music.
But it's not ours, you don't
Yeah.
fucking own it, do
It's
we?
fucking wild.
So the technology is not there to properly harness the power of the streaming because it's the IP. The IP concerns just haven't been fucking.
Yeah, because it's like mostly it's AI is like obviously done off some kind of algorithm.
Yeah.
Where it's like whatever it is,
It's more
like
likely not
recognizes what that song is and goes, right, well that song's copyrighted to Unique Leader Records, so poof, your stream's been muted.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it's my music. Like, do you know what I mean?
I can see that in the first instance. I mean, like, YouTube's only been worthwhile for 15 years.
Yeah.
I can see why they're just going, all right, well, look, if you found anything, it's more likely not his than it is.
Yeah.
So ban it and then deal with it after.
Yeah.
I kind of get it, but at the same time, it's not on.
It's just so shit though.
Yeah. So
Because I mean, it's like fucking like with the such small amount of money that you earn from Spotify, like it's like I said, I think it's something like 0.001 pence from each stream. It's like you may as well be giving it away for free. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, well, what's the fucking point? Like, why you asked about it?
the proposition doesn't work if the guy who's made it is a billionaire, which I think he is, isn't he? Is he?
Yeah, of course he fucking is.
I think the number in my head is 4. I don't know if it's 4 billion or 400 million. I don't know. But either, the proposition of like, yeah, it's enough fucking money. Yeah, the idea that we're still trying to just spread music and have like a more of a cultural thing. It doesn't work if you're making. If everyone's not making money, it's kind of all right in a way.
Yeah.
But I think that's a problem with the industry, though, in general, is that the bands and the artists are the last people to make money. Everybody else takes their fucking share, and then the band's left with whatever's left. They're the creators, like, do you know what I mean? It's like, well, they're creating the product. Why are they getting like the smallest share? Like, that's wild.
People aren't going to pay what something's worth. They'll pay what they think they'll pay for it. You know what I mean? Which is why you can charge £50 for a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Because if someone will pay that, it justifies the proposition. Yeah. It's dour, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I've got no answers for you.
It's fucking horrible.
But we love it though. That's why we do
it. Nando's. Would you go back to Nando's?
Would I go back to Nando's?
Were you at Nando's?
I was at Nando's for a long time.
I must have. That was a joke. I thought.
Yeah, I used to manage Nando's and shit. Like, no, I would never go back into the service industry.
Perry Jason.
I'm Perry Jason. I'm the Perry King. It was that's it. That industry is a thankless industry. Like, from any aspect. Like, it's just, they just chew you up and spit you out. That's it. Like, fuck working in the food industry again.
What would you go back to then if you were to? If you did pack it in, would you be opposed to again?
Probably.
I have no idea what I'd do.
My fantasy was always like, if everything goes tits up, I'll just keep applying to the Royal Mail.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just I know I wear shorts all the time, so I guess that's.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You're a cog in a fucking big machine, but at least once you get out there, the job's on you. You don't have to really answer to anyone. It's up to you to go and get the fucking job done. Do you know what I mean? No one's breathing down your neck. So performance is based on your own.
What dog is coming at me?
No.
He is fucked.
So there is that. There's a fake sense of freedom being a postman.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, still, it's interesting. It's good that Well, what would you do, Jason, then? Before I make this point, I mean, give me some hope. What would you go back to if you...
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I actually don't know. Like, I used to be a restaurant manager and stuff, but, like, there's no way I'd go back to that. It's, like, awful industry to work in. I am so invested in Ingested that I don't even think about it. Like, I don't even know. So the answer is I have no fucking idea what
We've got no backup
what I'd
plan.
do.
This has to work.
This is it for me.
So we scramble toe to toe, make sure the business can stay afloat. That's what we got. That's what we've got to deal with.
But the business right now, we've got a really good business model.
Yeah, it's working. Look, we're getting paid fuck all.
Yeah,
In the grand scheme, we're getting minimum wage.
But we get paid every single month. We're all on a wage, on a salary.
Is mortgage getting paid then?
Yeah, bills are paid. Like, family's happy.
Just
like,
about
do you know what I mean? Like, so now that we're all like somewhat stable cash wise, now it's about growing the business, growing the band.
Yeah.
And like
I went bleak because I was like, what is next then?
Yeah.
In terms of how you're going to go about growing it in such adverse and difficult times.
We've been brainstorming possible avenues to invest in the business and, try and get other revenue streams going. Property might be one, you could get a van and rent it out, all kinds of shit. We don't know what we're going to do. We need to do something.
Well, if Vince Neil can do a hot sauce, you know what I mean? There's something in there.
We need to do something. I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do.
You should take on the zero alcohol beers market. Everyone gets their own beer.
Yeah.
You should go, no, you're going to go with alcohol.
Zero one.
Ingest this.
But like what we want is like it's like Sean was saying, we want to grow the business alongside growing the band. So we're growing the band and earning money by doing the high profile tours like this. Like touring with Cannibal Corpse, touring with Lorna Shore, touring with Fit for an Autopsy. Like those sort of tours that are boosting our profile, and that's getting us to where we want to get.
Yeah.
And then with the money that comes into the business, then it's about trying to make that money work for us and earn more money. So it's like investing in like other things, like maybe we'll start investing in property or
20-year-olds don't think of
do
this.
you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, this is the thing.
We did.
We did.
That's why it took us so fucking long to get where we go.
We're all in our. If we were thinking the way that we're thinking now, we would probably be set by now. But because we were young, we just wanted to be in a fucking metal band, yo. Like, you know what I mean?
Watch his Pantera, think of Pantera,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's 4 chords and
Like, so it's like you just do that, but like now it's like we want to do what we love, but make sure that our families are taken care of. So that's what it's about now. So we want to. So all the money that goes into the business, obviously we get paid a salary, like a monthly wage, but we want the money that's in the business to earn money, like with stuff that's nothing to do with the band, so that the business is growing and the band is growing.
Yeah.
Like, because you just like, so like we could. So for example, by the end of this year, we've pretty much been on tour for like 2 years, haven't we?
Since it's been viable,
like,
I was going to make a point. You're like one of the
October, November 2021, we've been
we've been on tour.
Just to be honest, I came in here and said, lad, you got like 2 weeks off for your US tour. How does it feel? And then you corrected me. How much time you got off?
6 days.
Yeah. Fucking. We'll go on to why I think that's important and cool, but continue.
Yeah. So my point is that the money that we earn through the band is making money through other avenues, so that after basically being on tour for as long as we've been on tour, which is like, what, 2.5 years, is it? Pretty much. We've constantly been on tour for like the past 2.5 years.
Yeah.
It's so that we can take a break for 6 months or take a break for like maybe a year. Like, do you know what I mean? And give ourselves a breather and then still be able to pay our bills and like
come back fresh.
Like, and come back fresh, like from like working our fucking bollocks off. So that's what that's about. Like, but it's like Lynn, like we said before, Lynn's the brains behind this. Like, he's like really.
He's looking at fucking holiday arms, isn't he?
He's got his fucking head screwed on. Like, he's got his head screwed on. So it's like we just follow his lead, really, don't we? He's like the mastermind behind that.
Mostly,
that side.
Don't get me wrong, he consults us in certain things,
Yeah.
but there's certain things he goes, I go, mate, if that's the call, that's the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Do you know what I mean? There's no like, If you think that's a good idea, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's some things that even have to consult us. He makes the decision himself. It's like normally he doesn't get it wrong. So it's like all that's been happening in the past 2 years is slow growth. I'm like, okay, we'll just keep doing that then.
Which is slow growth is still remarkable for a metal band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is it though. It's like there's been moments along the way within these past 2 years where I've nearly given up. Nah, fuck this. But those moments happen, and then something else happens that goes, oh wait a minute, there's more legs on this. Do you know what I mean? For example, when we came to the end of our contract with the unit leader and we were wondering what to do next, and we got turned down by a few labels, but we were like, we're absolutely going to get this contract because why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You're a viable, investment. And we didn't get it. We're like, oh fuck. Well, then we discussed about maybe doing an independent route. But if you go do the independent route, fair enough. Initially, the money's going to be better initially, but there's no one to fight your corner. There's no one to help you grow or go anywhere else. And in my head, I was like, that feels like we've hit a ceiling, and I don't feel comfortable there.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, do we do this, or do I quit my job, or do I keep my job? Do I not do the band? And I was like, maybe I'm going to fucking leave. I was like, maybe I'll leave because I don't see the future anymore. I don't see it going anywhere. And then 2 weeks later, Metal Blade come knocking on the door. I'm like, okay. Right, stick it out then. And then management comes along, but the same management as Campbell Court's White. So, okay then, fuck it, let's go. Do you know what I mean? Shit like that happens constantly. We question it, but it's constantly there's always something. You'll hit a roadblock, and then there's a little glimmer of hope next. It's like, I'll keep doing it then.
Well, no, it sounds like
the good thing about seeing the slow growth, and it's difficult doing what you have to do, but seeing our tour schedule at the end of last year for this year, I was like, it's a good year. This year's going to be fine. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like 2,500 people. This will come to an end next year because we've got a headline, but I'm enjoying this year because I could see, there's the opportunities that we've got are good for the business. Yeah. And it's good for us mentally because we're like, fuck yeah, we're not 2,500 people in Manchester, let's go. Do you know what I mean? Because next year we'll be in Rebellion Plates about fucking 200, so whatever. But that's the thing though, you've got to mentally prepare yourself for that because we know we've got to do 7 months of shit shows to get one good show. It's always like that. Just when we're thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, this show sucks. Like, next week we've got Hellfest. Hellfest is next week. Do Hellfest, recharge again. Do you know what I mean? It's like all the time. If you think this is going to be every tour, you lose your mind. So this is why I said this year is this year. I'm going to like it.
What is the ceiling then for Ingested? Because I don't know, would you regard yourself as slam in the same conventional way as I was going to ask you?
We're just death metal that.
We're so we've got so many different elements and influences and the styles that we do. It's like you can make an argument for us being fucking anything really. You can make an argument for us being deathcore. You can make an argument for us being death metal, slam, brutal death metal, extreme metal. You can make all those arguments. What I was going to make was if you're in the headspace of, we've now got a structure and we're now just going to chip away and chip away and chip away. Have you got a ceiling in mind? Knowing that we're at a Cannibal Corpse gig and they're not doing theatres, but they're a legacy death metal band, which they have an almost guaranteed. That's where we want to be. Yeah, that's the spot that we want to be.
We want to be there, but
whether we get there is up to the fans and the industry. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
We're realistic. I mean, my goals are fairly reasonable. I'd like to just do if we do 400 and 500 cap venues for the rest of our career, fine. I'm happy with that because that's a good career. But don't get me wrong, I wanted this. But it's Cannibal Corpse. The 90s already set them up. We're just a rehashed version of all these bands that have already done it. So it's whether or not they want us to fill in the shoes, one Suffolk go, Dying Fetus go, fucking, they're all going to go. What does it leave the rest of us though? I don't know who's going to take those
There's always to be someone empowering the outliers, as in from a fan perspective. And they've always got some cash. Yeah. Maybe not 40 quid for a t-shirt, but they got some cash. Yeah.
We don't know, do we? We'll see.
No.
This is the thing, we don't try and get too ahead of ourselves. We know what we need to do next week, we don't need to do the week after that. We're just going to keep doing that. Yeah. And then if somehow we become a legacy band, which, there's plenty of those around now, why can't we be a legacy band? We've got fucking 7 albums at the moment, Joe. When are we going to be accepted as a legacy band?
I like thinking about this transaction between a current band and a legacy band. And I always think of The Darkness. Because they had those two the big album, the slightly less than good album, then 5 years, and then the audience was contracted to this. We're going to do theatres and big clubs, and that's their thing.
Yeah.
And now I think in that setting they've kind of made the best stuff. Not now just death metal in any way, but it's just like it took 5 years for them to not be there and just go, all right, well everyone who's going to be there when we come back is going to be this core centre
of diehards.
And they're going to come back every December and do the Shed 7 bit or whatever.
This is it,
yeah. And I think like when you're on the trot, like you guys are the busiest fucking band that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know who told you just got to be on the road all the time. Because there's so many other bands who, albeit don't have as much profile in my opinion, although I sort of see you guys in a different skewed way, because I'm obviously trying to look at things from a different perspective. But some of them are like, oh, I'll do a few weekend tours.
Yeah,
well, this is it. Well, this is the problem though, as boring as it sounds, if we've got a business to run, we have to go out and make money.
Yeah.
Because we've got 6 months worth of wages here. We need to do another fucking tour. So you know what I mean? Like, when do you go out and tour?
Yeah.
That's it. The hope at the end of this year is we don't have to do so much next year because we put all the work in place. The foundations are there now. The business is doing okay, and then as long as we've got that, as long as we're making profit and the business is healthy, then we can take the foot off the gas a little bit next year and be like, we don't have to do that.
And you got the foresight to go, all right, D-Day is March 2026, so we need to pay for March 2026, and then we can move into April 2026.
Well, this is it.
Yeah. No, it's good that you've got your heads on, fucking screwed on properly. You don't have to talk about any of this if you don't want to, but the families must be like, all right, great, there's a business model, and you're not just going out.
Well, my wife told me to quit the Raw Metal.
Yeah.
She's sick of me being miserable and overworked because I was dancing and everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I couldn't focus fully on Ingested stuff because I was getting up at work and fucking picking up the kids and shit. But now I can wake up in the morning, take the kids to school, and focus on something Ingested related.
Yeah.
And just be in that space. So she was like, I went through depression around the COVID area, and my dad died and all that kind of shit. I had a rough year and a half, couple of years. So the start of 2022, I was kind of getting out of it. But she just went, oh, listen, if the opportunity comes where you can be all in with Ingested, that you should do it. She went, we got to the point like the Lorna show, so I was saying that I was quitting. She went, right, it's time. I went, okay, I'm out. She hates me being away, and it's tough being away from the kids. But she'd rather me be out doing something I love.
Yeah.
Than be at home and just be miserable doing something that I have to do. Do you know what I mean? Just sacrificing everything you do. But I mean, my wife, I've known my wife for 25 years. She saw me pick up the guitar. She understands. This is what I've always wanted to do, and this is it.
Yeah.
This is what has to happen.
You got to think as well, like when you do sort of miss events or something like, you can video call, which is a damn sight better than what it was just 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a different kind of relationship that everyone has with that.
Yeah, and this is it as well. Like, I mean, Lynn put it into perspective in the terms of where if we did have a regular job versus us being on tour for 3 to 4 or 5 months of the year, the time at home is better. Even though we're away,
you're actually present.
It's an extensive amount of time away. But once I'm home, I had 2 months off after Christmas. I fucking got back from Lorna show. I had, 2 months off. I'm here. Hi. Do you know what I mean? I'm not getting up at fucking 9 a.m. and pissing off. I'm here all the time.
Yeah.
So you just got to deal with the bullshit, like the 2 months here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This 7 weeks have been tough. Like, she wants me home, and she's gutted that it's only 7 days. But I'll be back, and I'll be back for a month, and then I've got like 2 weeks, and I'm back for 3 months, and it's like all that. I've got all that though. As like a caveat towards keeping them happy and all that kind of thing. So that's it.
Yeah, you just gotta keep around the diary, haven't you?
Yeah.
And just like, because if you overplan and do everything, if you break everything down into the small jobs and then just go plant it, and keep the missus involved, it's like
I tell her everything. And as soon as anything comes in, this is what might be happening. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was talks of us doing a different territory after America, and like me and him were like, nah, man, we can't do it because it's like, our family life. She can only manage the kids and people looking after kids as much as you can, and time off and all this kind of stuff. So if we do this, it's gonna fuck us.
Childcare has gone up as well.
Yeah,
It's not fucking good.
So I was like, look, we're thinking about moving it. I told to my wife, we're going to move it to this thing, and it's not happening now anyway. So she's like, fuck, yes. So yeah,
that's good. I think we should wrap it there, then, lads. I think
All right.
we've covered all the bases. I've got my weird sort of like shitty, unsexy business angle and everything. But I'll give a good 6 days. What are you doing on 6 days? Have you gone to Eureka in Halifax?
No, I'm going. I'm going to Warhammer Fest in Manchester.
Warhammer Fest.
Yeah.
Is this like the replacement to the annual
like games day thing?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
That is having fun. I've got to strip away the unit, put it all back together again. I've got to go and do the carnage shit. I've got to do all this fucking nonsense bullshit. Change money. He gets fuck off and go.
I'm going looking at Space Marine